Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Your boy Savage, aka Sav Cisneros. You tuning to Sav Lokes Hood Tales. It's 2.0. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Let's get to the politic. Before I get started with this video, I want to make it clear I am not promoting gang banging in any sense, any way, any form to anybody. I'm just shining a light on a testimony and, shining a light on my city and state, man, because there's a lot of misinformation that I see out there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just opening, trying to open people's eyes to things, man. Um, so let's get on to this video. So in the last, I would have to say, couple years to 3 years, Denver has grown, right, to a bigger city. A lot of people live out here, and you got a lot of people, trying to do different things on Denver now. You know what I'm saying? Denver, the market for things are bigger. Like, you even see in movies, they reference Denver a lot, or people will be in Denver in the movies. Back in the day, it was not so much, because Denver was a little city and state. Nobody really knew nothing about Denver, Colorado. But over the years, it's growing, and there's a lot of stuff out here now. So it's a thing to talk about now. Everybody wants to be out here. Look at the people that traveled out here. So there's been a lot of these podcasts and a lot of people trying to do different videos about stuff in Denver, Colorado. And they try their best, but they have a lot of information out about Denver, Colorado that is absolutely false. Or they'll tell about a story, and none of it really is 100% on point. And fools that are out here that know of the situations or been a part of, they're like, it's like, bro, that's a black eye on the whole situation. Y'all is making the whole situation look, watered down or look weird. You know what I'm saying? So one of the big situations that they've talked about a lot, these podcasts and, people pretty much talking about this situation. And I've mentioned this in a different video. I did a video on this before. Is DJ Quick, back in the 90s, the rapper DJ Quick, he was a bigger rapper than a lot of people out there. He comes out here and he books a show, and he books a show in a certain area, and a gang of fools that are from the other side of the tracks roll up to a show, and a fight breaks out, and he gets rushed on stage. Now, I wasn't there, but I know a lot of people talk about this to this day, and I know people that actually were there, and they all said that DJ Quick said some disrespectful stuff on stage, and the Crips out here rushed the stage. And from what I get from the story is pretty much, it was a handful of Crips from different hoods, but the main neighborhood that is pinpointed is the East Side Denver fools from the threes, the Trays. And so they've mentioned this and talked about this situation a lot because everybody likes to talk about stuff like that. There's always a reference, bro. It says Denver wants to be like Compton. While DJ Quick, after he gets beat up, he goes makes a song, and it's called Like Compton. He mentions a lot of cities and states that he's went to and a lot of stuff that's popped off at his concerts. But when he gets to Denver, he basically says Denver wants to be like Compton. He says every other city and state is like Compton, but Denver wants to be like Compton. One big reasoning, he didn't know that actually there was Bloods and Crips out here, and he didn't know he was going to get rushed by the Crips. So when he seen the Crips, he's like, oh, that's a California thing or whatever. He makes that song and disrespects the city and state. So they talk about this in every video you see or every podcast. You're all, and even not just that, but anybody that ever talks about the history, the gang culture out here in Denver, there's going to be somebody in the comment section that always says Denver wants to be like Compton. And it's basically trying to mock the situation out here. First and foremost, I want to say it like this, man. Every city and state has politics, right? Every city and state, real life hogs from every city and state. You can go to the littlest cities, and if they have, a form of politics, there's gonna be somebody that will push the line for that city and state. Like out here, Denver's the bigger city and state. Denver's the bigger city. You go out to like Los Animas and they got some gangs out there. You're going to find somebody that will push the line for the gang out there. So, they're really putting in work for their sector, man. And there's been, out here in Denver, there's been, people that are no longer here because of the simple fact is they really lived that life. Either they're passed away or they're in the penitentiary for the rest of their life for really putting in work. And you're not just gonna disrespect their politic or their program because they will handle that business, and there's a consequence. There's a domino effect, just like there was a domino effect when DJ Quick came out here, and he said the wrong thing and they rushed the stage. Them fools didn't care about him being from California. Them fools didn't care about him being a rapper. And there's many different situations out here in the Denver metro that you see people that come from the city, other cities and states, and they think it's sweet and stuff, occurs. You know what I'm saying? Not the biggest and baddest murder capital, but you will always meet somebody that will answer that temperature, will put pressure, because you will meet your match in anywhere you go. You got to just have respect and understand that. But what I want to actually clarify, because this is the thing, homie. Before this gang culture came from other cities and states, Denver already had forms of gangs before Bloods and Crips, and if you want to say Colorado, Sureños, and Norteños. Before that, before the 90s and the late 89s, when that stuff started hitting, way before that, every neighborhood in the Denver metro to Aurora to Montbello all had original gangs that pushed for Denver, that was already out here established. And to this day, there's certain neighborhoods that are still standing from that era. So the only thing that was different was the Bloods and Crips. Everything else, there was already gangbanging out here. So, the only thing that changed was the Bloods and Crips. And that's a Cali rooted politic. But there was already gangbanging out here. That was nothing new. There was already fools in neighborhoods, handfuls of neighborhoods. You had Northside. Let's start with the Northside. You had Northside NSMs, you had Northside UTAs, Northside Criminals, Northside Quintalomas, the VGVs, the Warlords, Northside Hitman, you had original fools that don't have nothing to do with Bloods and Crips. Denver Bound, East Side, Curtis Park Boys, Odies, ESGs, Deuce 5 Raiders, Brick Cities, the Odies, from Trey 7 Ghetto Boys to, OD 13s and, 37 Ave, ESGs from Duke 7 2700. Black Hole Posse, you had in the West Side, GKis, Inca Boys, Westwood, West Side AKs, and, Byers Hood, and different neighborhoods that was banging in the West Side, South Side Still, South Side Homie, Westwood Hoods, you had original gangs that always pushed the line. The Villains, the original Chickies, Chickies from Swansea. Come on, man. So that was just a different way, the Bloods and Crips, it's like that was already established. The Bloods and Crips hit, and it was a different type of program, and fools tapped into that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you got to know exactly where stuff is really coming from. You got to know where it's rooted from. people, you can't just say what you think is the truth. It's not the truth. You got to have 100% factual basis behind what you say, because you look like idiots, really. Um, and that's what it is. And this second part of the video, um, it's from the fool Chris Jones. Mile high salute to you, bro. And you wanted to actually know about pretty much, the G's and the Westridge CMG foods from the West Side, the Blood foods. Um, to be honest, bro, I can remember when I first got out the joint, the GKIs had beef with some of the 16 block foods, before all this new, wave of CMGs from the West Side, the Blood foods. They had beef with the 16 block foods, man. I can remember having homies from the G. Big shout out to the homies from the GKI. And they would be over there by 16th and Perry, and they had major conflicts with 16 blocks. They were in. It was to the point that some of the G's actually kicked with some of the OGC foods and kicked with some of our circle. So it was kind of like a link, you know what I'm saying? And we all had conflict with 16 blocks at one time, and we all rode together just because of it. And I can remember being at spots, and they would give that trumpet, and everybody would be like, G's up, C's up, you know what I'm saying? Eyes down, B's down. Like, it was like a chant, and then this was before I went, I don't know. It was actually before I went to the penitentiary. But when I got out, there was a whole new wave of West Side Bloods in the West Side, and you would hear about, different neighborhoods from the West Side forming these blood cliques from already established blood hoods. But it would be a branch, a circle of fools that were like, this is our own stuff. Westridge started being a name you would hear. You started seeing the music and everything. And these little Westridge fools, they were actually gang banged out. I'm saying they put it out there like they were, the craziest fools out there, the craziest bloods out there. Everything was killing Crips, and they would be in their music, cracking threes, and you know what I'm saying, putting CK up, and it's like, dang. So we happen to be over there where them fools actually, you know what I'm saying, were chilling, and my little partners, they got into it with some Westridge fools, and there was incidences where, the homies got at them fools and chased them fools off the block. So the situation happened when Nipsey Hussle. I remember this, man, like it was yesterday. And after Nipsey Hussle gets killed, the rapper fool, they had peace treaties out here in Denver, which I attended. A couple of my partners were with me. We attended it. And I can remember they were trying to bring peace in the Denver metro. And certain handful of them Westridge fools, this is when they started really putting it out there like they were just super active. They were disrespecting the peace treaty because some of the blood OGs, they were at the peace treaty with the Crips, and these Westridge fools was like, they were not having it, homie. They were disrespecting, and they were like, F these raps, will never be peace with these fools. And I remember there was a certain team of brothers, like real family, that were like this. And I can remember they were the most disrespectful out of all of them. It got to a point, their disrespect on Facebook and all this, bro. It got me out of my character, bro. And anybody that I knew might have been had relations with them fools from that side, there was no passes. They were, when we seen them, their homies, their cousins, like they were getting pressed all the way around. And usually when it happened, these fools would actually turn down everything over their people, because they knew that them fools, they were causing a lot of stuff for the Westridge CMGs. Well, about a year ago to 2 years, maybe a year and a half ago, um, the CMGs, they actually get into it with some oldie fools from East Denver, and the Westridge CMGs catch some fool, slipping, and pretty much they put it on Facebook and they put their business out there. Well, it was going to cause a big war because what they did to the little oldie fool was kind of dirty. Um, it was going to cause a war. They notified me in the Facebook aspect. I seen this video and it had almost like 20,000 views on it. And I remember telling one of the little fools, like, keep this off of Facebook, homie. You're going to get everybody indicted if fools in the city of Denver that mess with both cars. If somebody gets killed behind this, you're going to get everybody indicted. The fool that put up the post, he's a Westridge fool, and he came back at me and DM me like, where are you, homie? What do it? So he's going off, and I started laughing. I put laughing at him. I said, hey, killer, I don't want no beef with you, bro, because I don't want to get indicted in something. So, he got pissed, and he had a big tantrum, bro. So long story short, these fools get caught up for smoking. The same fool that was putting out these videos gets caught up for smoking some civilian, right? They shot this dad, and I knew it. Well, in that process, the fool that I'm talking about, the main fool, the brothers, he's out here tripping, and they're out here tripping with everybody in the West Side. They go to these races, and they're tripping with the G's. They're tripping with the G's over the West Side because that's predominantly in the West Side, the GKis and the Bloods. And there's a video, and there's two people, and they're tripping in the video, and all of a sudden they both pull out guns, and one of the little fools shoots the fool I'm talking about. And on the video, that fool's head gets blown off. And this was a video that was going around. While that triggered a whole war because one was a G and DY, and the fool DYS gets killed. You know what I'm saying? And it triggered a whole beef between the G's and the Westridge CMGs from the West Side. And I could remember all the G fools I knew, they were tripping on all them Westridge CMGs. And I remember they're actually back and forth, homie. I think some other little fool from the G got killed, and they were tripping like old school 90s. So, yeah, bro, it got pretty turned up. And I remember the fool DYS, the one that got killed, his family knew some of my family, my real family, and they were talking about, and I said, I try to warn that little fool, man. The way they were going, just disrespecting everybody, he was going to get killed, homie. And, he was young. He just had a baby and everything, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sad part. His baby is going to grow without a father. But when you put that atmosphere out there and you put that energy, it comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, man. Mile high salute to everybody out there. You know what it is. Let's go.